In today's video, I show you how to install and configure NZBGet. NZBGet is an open source Usenet download client. This one comes as a request from Apollo Pain 25. This is for you. Let's get NZBGet set up. Before we get started, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, I'll leave a link below. It's a monthly publication with Unraid news, written out guides, and more. Sign up now so you don't miss out. And if you haven't joined our Discord server yet, I'll leave a link below for that as well. On to NZBGet. Let's get it installed. To do that, let's go over to our Apps tab. In the search box, I'm going to search for NZBGet. Here you'll find several different options. Typically, I use the binhex container, so I'm going to stick with that one. So find the binhex-NZBGet and click install. Then down under network type, I'm going to change this from bridge to our custom alien proxy network. And if you don't have a custom network yet, it's easy enough to do. Let me show you real quick. Go up to your terminal icon in the top right, and you're going to type in there docker network create, and then give it a name. So in this case, I had alien proxy. Hit enter, and it's created. I already have it, so I'll exit out of here. After you've got your network selected, I'm going to scroll down and then expand show docker allocations. And we're going to look for the web port to see if it's available. So in this case, it's 6789. I'm going to highlight it, Control F on the keyboard. It finds 2, which are right there, so that port is good. If you find your ports in use, then just go ahead and increment the number by 1 and see if that's available until you find something that's free. The path/config is the app data folder, and that's where we want it to go, so that's good. And then path/data is where our data is going to go. So we're going to follow the trash guide structures, and I'm going to put this under data. So it's going to be /mnt/user/data. And if your data location is someplace different, then you just choose wherever you'd like it to go. That's all the settings we need there that are required. I'm going to scroll all the way down and then hit apply. And once that's done, we're going to hit done. And while that's installing, why don't you come and join us on Discord? I'll leave a link in the description. There you go. That only took a minute or so. It's pretty quick. All right, let's go over to our Docker tab. We're going to turn on auto start. So let's find the binhex NZBGet and turn the auto start on to on. Next, we're going to go click on its icon, drop down, and select Web UI. We're going to log in. And the default username is NZBGet. And the default password is NZBGet backwards. So it's going to be TEG BZN and then the port number 6789. So that's going to be TEG BZN 6789. And I'll leave that in the description as well. And we're going to hit sign in. And we're logged in. So now we have NZBGet installed. So if you're getting some value from this video, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe while you're down there. I'm just setting it up. And stick around to the end for a bonus. Well, let's jump to the center here and go to settings, which is right in the center top. We're going to jump down to system. And here you'll see that you can reload NZBGet. So it's basically a reboot of it. If you're having some issues with it and you just need to restart it, you can do it within the container itself. You can shut it down. All this stuff I typically do from the main Docker page here. That's where all the other ones are done at. So it's just easiest to do it there, but you can do it internal. You can back up the settings. You can restore the settings. And you can check for updates. And just as a warning, don't use this option here. It can break the container. It's best just to let the Docker container update from Unraid itself. Next option down is web interface. I leave all this stuff on defaults, but you can turn them on and off, like the activity animation and refresh animations, that kind of stuff. Like I said, I just leave it alone. So we're going to jump down to paths. And the first one up here, main directory. Right now it's got /data. And this sets the main root directory for NZBGet. And then all the other directories below get set off this. As you may have noticed down below here, the destination directory has that main directory variable thrown in there. Like I said earlier, I'm going to use the trash guides folder structure. So I'm going to set this to /data/usenet. And the destination directory, this is where the final downloaded files will go. We're always going to leave the $ main directory part, because as I said before, that refers to the main directory up here. But we are going to have to change the end of it. So instead of completed, it's going to be just complete. Then down to the intermediate files, and on that one, that's going to be for our incomplete files. So I'm going to change intermediate to incomplete. Then the rest are all fine and defaults, so they are the working directories for NZBGet. However, it's going to create a bunch of random folders, so I like to clean that up a bit. So what I'm going to do is to create a subdirectory here, just to put all the NZBGet files in one location. So under the NZB directory, I'm just going to add in NZBGet with a /, and I'll copy that. And then down below, the queue, once again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to leave the queue, put it inside the NZBGet folder. Same with the temp folder. Scrolling down a little bit. That one's good. The scripts are fine. The lock file, I'm going to stick that in a that folder as well. If I can get it, there we go. Log file, once again, same thing. Need the N there, local share, that's good. All right, the rest looks fine. Like I said, that's all optional. It just helps to clean it up a little bit. So if you choose to do this, it's going to be the NZB directory, the Q directory, the temp directory, lock file, and the log file directories. Done in this section, so scroll back up, and I'm going to go over to new servers. In here, you'll see there's server 1 and then server 1 active. We want that set to yes, and that's basically saying that we want this news client server to be active. Server 1 name will be the name of your news group provider. In this case, I use pure Usenet. It's just a name, so you can put anything you'd like in there. Next, we have level. This is the priority level. So if you have more than one Usenet provider, you can set the order of priority. And 0 just means that there's no priority. I only have one. I'm just going to leave it there. Down under optional, I'm going to leave this set to no, but if you read below, it basically says that you turn this on if it's a non-reliable server. Next, we have group. Use this if you have multiple accounts with the same provider, and I'm betting that almost nobody does, so just leave it on the default of 0. Scrolling down, we've got host. This will be the provider's host name, and mine is news.pureusenet.nl. Encryption we're going to want on if your connection requires, TLS or SSL, which most of them do nowadays. Then down to port number, 563 is what my news group client requires. Once again, look at your provider settings and set it accordingly. Next, we have username and password. These will be your news group client user ID and password. Pretty self-explanatory. Just go ahead and plug those in. Next, we'll have join group. If your server requires the join group command, then you'd want to enable that. Mine does not, so I'll leave it on no. Cipher, we're going to leave blank. And under connections, you put in the number that your account has. So in this case, my account, I'm paying for 40 of them. Retention, you put in the retention days for your provider. Mine is 4,100. Scroll down some more. Then under cert verification and IP version, the defaults are fine, so I'm leaving those alone. Then for a note, that's just any personal note you want to put in there. So once you're done, you hit test connection. Let me go put my ID and password in off screen, and I'll be right back. So at the very bottom, we hit test connection, and it should be successful. If not, then just go back and double check your settings, make sure that you've got your ID and password and the port number and all that stuff set correctly. And if you have another news group provider, then you just click add another server at the bottom here and go through the same process, repeat all the steps, put in the information for that provider, test the connection, make sure it's good. And when you've got all your servers added, you just go down to the bottom and hit save all changes. It's going to come up with a window here and it says reload. So let's reload NZBGet. Once it's reloaded, you're back at the main page. So we're going to go back to settings, then down to security. Here's where you're going to set the username and password for NZBGet. Third option down, you'll find control username. That's the username there. And then control password is the password. If you don't want it to be the TEGBZN6789, then go ahead and change it to something else. And I'm going to change mine because I won't remember that. There's a couple other settings in here you need to know about. If you look down just below there, you'll find restricted username. So if you want to give somebody access to use NZBGet, but not able to make changes to the system, then you'd set up a username and a password for those people there. I don't need those, so everything else there is fine on the default. So I'm just going to go back up and go over to categories. Here we can set up different categories for each media type. The 4 default categories are movies, series, music, and software. So to keep with the trash folder structure, I'm going to make some changes here. If you're not familiar with the trash folder structure, I'll show you real quick. So the default trash guides folder structure is going to be a folder for data. Inside of that, you're going to have one for media, one for torrents, and one for Usenet. Within media, you're going to put in all your media types. So in this case, in mine, I've got audiobooks, calibers for another video I did, documentaries, ebooks, movies, music, photos, podcasts, TV stuff. The biggest ones that most everybody does is going to be movies, music, and TV. Back up one. Then under Usenet, you're going to have a complete folder and an incomplete folder. Incomplete, you have nothing in it. It's just an incomplete. Under completed, you're going to have the same folders that you created in your media folder. So you'll find the movies there, the TV, and the music. And if that's at all confusing for you, it's a really simple structure. It's just the main data folder, one for media. Inside of the media, you have different media types. Then you'll have a separate one for Usenet. And then inside of that, you'll have one for complete and one for incomplete. And then within complete, you're going to have the same media folders that you had for media. So TV shows, movies, music, that kind of stuff. I did a whole video on that, on how to set up Unraid for trash guide structure. So I'll leave a link to that below too. We don't need that anymore. So for category 1 movies, I have all mine set to lowercase just to keep it easy. So I'm going to change that to movies. Then under destination directory, it says if this option is empty, then the default destination directory, the one that we had created earlier, will be used, and then it's going to append this category name here to the end of it, which is exactly what we want. So we're going to just leave that empty. And then for the unpack, do we want it to unpack, unzip the files? Yes, we're going to leave that on yes. All right, down to aliases. I'm using Sonar, Radar, and LiDAR, and they'll take care of this category names that would normally go here. So you can just leave that blank. So that's all we need for category 1. Let's scroll down to category 2. Series, this is my TV shows, so I'm going to change that to TV. Everything else is fine. Music, once again, I'm going to make this lowercase. And then category 4, software, I don't have that category, so I'm just going to go down here and delete category 4. Then if you have any other categories you need to add, like for ebooks or audiobooks, then you would just add another category, fill in the information, and just put in whatever you need. It's not needed in my case, so I'm just going to close that out. Once you've got your category set, we're going to go back up, and we're going to go down to incoming NZBs. First option up there is append catalog directory. We want to set that to yes. This is what allows the subdirectories to be used as the destination directory. And then NZB directory interval. How often do you want it to check for new NZB files? The default of 5 seconds sounds fine to me. We'll leave that. Jumping down to the next one, NZB directory file age. This is how old the file is before it'll be considered as a downloadable file. The default is 60 seconds. And the reason you want a little bit of a delay here is that if the file is just being put up, you don't want to grab it as soon as it's there because it may not fully be all the way indexed into the client. So I give it a minute or so just to make sure that it's completed file. Dupe check. This checks for duplicates. So we'll leave that on. Everything else is good. That's all we have there. Let's jump over to download queue. First couple options are all fine. We're going to leave those alone. The article cache. This helps the performance and it decreases the file fragmentation. So the higher the number, the better, but it all goes into memory. So you want to kind of balance that out with however much system RAM you have. I'm going to set mine to 350 megs. If you've got a lot of memory, bump it up to 500 megs. If you don't have much, then keep it at 100. Direct write, we're going to leave that on yes. And if you're using article cache, then you definitely want that turned on. On to logging. All right, for write log, this is how you want the log files written. I'm going to change this from append because it's basically a never-ending file right now to rotate. You'll see the different options below here. So none, it doesn't write to the log file at all. Append adds it to the end of the existing log, or it creates one. Like I said, I changed mine to rotate. So it creates a new log file for each day and then deletes old log files. And then down here it says C option rotate log. That is however many days you want to keep the logs for. And I think 3 is fine. If you want to keep it for a week, then just set it for 7 days. All right, we're going to jump over and go to check and repair. Pretty much everything is good here. I'm going to scroll down a little bit until we find par buffer. And par buffer, I set that to 500, and that's dependent on the amount of RAM you have, but you want it large enough to write out a complete block. Scrolling down, we're going to look for health check. I'm going to change this from park to delete. What this is doing is if you have a news group article that doesn't complete for some reason, instead of just letting it sit there and taking up space, we're actually just going to delete it. No sense in keeping a bunch of useless data. All right, go back up. We're going to go to unpack. Third option down is unpack pause queue. If you have a lower powered CPU, then you'd want to set this to yes. Mine's not, so I'm going to leave it on no. Scroll all the way down and click save all changes. And you'll see the message here says configuration has been saved successfully. We need to reload now. So hit reload NZBGet. At this point, NZBGet is fully set up and working. However, I said we'd have a bonus at the end, so let me show you what that is. I'm going to show you how to set it up real quick in Radar and Sonar. So go back to our Unraid server. We're going to find Radar and we'll open that up and log in real quick. All right, so once we're in Radar, I'm going to jump over to settings, go to download clients. We're going to click the plus and then add NZBGet. Name, NZBGet is fine, localhost. Let's change that to the IP address of your NZBGet client, which is on my server, so that's 10.0.0.11. You'd put in your server IP address here. The port number, default 6789, is what I end up using. If you changed yours, then you'd change it here. We want to make sure that is enabled, so it's actually using it. Under username, you put in your NZBGet username, and the password, you put in whatever you'd set it to, or if you left it at defaults, then it's going to be the TEGBZN6789. I changed mine. Categories, this is to match up with the category here. And like I said, I like it all lowercase just so I know what it is. So I'm setting that accordingly. Scrolling down, we have completed download handling, remove completed, and remove failed. We want those both enabled. We'll hit test, get a green check mark, and save. And that's set up. Let's jump back to our Docker containers and find Sonar and set that up real quick. It's the exact same process though. Log in, settings, download clients, plus NZBGet, put in the host IP, port number is the same, username, NZBGet password that you set up, category is TV, make sure remove completed and remove failed are selected, hit test, green check mark, it's all good, hit save. So there you go. We got Sonar connected, and we've got Radar connected, and we have NZBGet set up. So I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, scroll to the bottom, hit that like button, and subscribe while you're down there. And check out one of these videos next. And I'll see you in the next one.